nights out and about.
Anyone ever tell you you're a bit pushy? She asked, hoping to sound a little tougher, like she could convince him she was on his level.
I'm a bit far away to be able to be pushing you.
He told her, his voice still his same neutral, though his smile turned up a bit. Humor. She could use humor to humanize herself. She also put him at ease by seeming compliment. Listener took a half step forward to show she was willing, but hesitated. Let him think that he nearly had her on the hook. As I'm sure you can imagine, it'd be silly to go anywhere with a stranger. He made an amused noise. And I don't know you, so what's your name?
Come on, little lamb.
He thought.
You're making this so easy.
His grin stretched again, seeming menacing.
Sans.
A breath of relief left her lungs. An easy one. Sensational, she replied. My name is Listener. There, now we're friends, she declared, as if that sealed the deal. A look of distaste fluttered across his face, and she wondered if it was working, or if she just pissed him off. Next thing. Relate to gain empathy. Do you have any siblings? She asked. When he didn't answer for a minute, she supplied, I love my family. Sisters, brothers, mom, dad. Names. She had to make them human and real, too. Even if they weren't Emily, Casey, Abe, Justin, Isabel, Eddie. She took a breath, trying to think of more things to make her seem relatable and more personable as they started walking, her keeping a distance and pace that let her keep him in sight. He was just staring at the grass as they walked, a slight glare on his face. It was getting darker, and she didn't know how his eyesight was in the dark, but she'd been out here for 2 days already, and she was used to the natural light, not inhibited by normally being around the bright, false light like he would probably be. She might have an advantage if she could just get back to her truck after hitting him away from her, or something to give herself more time. And there's my clients, though they...
Brother.
He finally muttered. Really are more... I'm sorry, what was that? She asked.
I have a brother.
It was a start. What's his name? She asked, looking around and looking for her chance.
Papyrus.
Papyrus? He only nodded, not saying anything else. What's he like?
He's the coolest.
He told her, and she swore she could see his teeth tilt in a fond smile. Older or younger?
Younger.
He said, smile falling a little. Tell me about him, she asked, hopeful.
Like what?
He asked a little rudely.
What would you be interested in about a monster?
Anything. Everything, she assured him. He gave a huff of disbelief, but spoke.
He's the best little bro a guy could have. Doesn't let me just lay around, keep me going, even on the bad days. He's always trying to take care of me, even though he's the younger one. He's got big ambitions and he achieves them. He's an amazing cook. Nicest guy around.
He sounds amazing, Listener told him softly, honestly moved by the way he described his brother. Sans snared. He knew she was trying to somehow use his love for his brother against him. Disgusting humans. They'd use anything and anyone to get what they wanted. The cabin came into view, and Sans' face fell back into the schemery grin it usually was. The human tried to start falling back, so he slowed his already loose pace to something closer to mundaner. He wasn't going to let her get away.
Right here.
He told her, opening the door for her and gesturing for her to enter first. She didn't move, her nervousness showing through. There was a noise from the depths of the cabin, and Sans grinned.
Sounds like my bro's home. Come on in. Join us for dinner.
He goaded. She still didn't move, and he could see her actually holding herself from running off.
Stupid human. You should listen to those instincts.
He thought to her.
They're trying to save your life.
Her eyes were moving up and down the gravel road, searching for help she'd never get. If the trees weren't so thick, she would have been able to see the uninhabited, empty cabin on the corner, and further past that, around the bend in the road, the light of the cabin belonging to the annoying, bratty version of himself and his nosy slave of a brother.
You expecting a trip line or something?
He kept her in a close, direct path, in case she bolted, as he stepped through the door, first to show her it was safe. The door, that is.
Sans, is that you?
A loud voice called from further past the door, probably from the room the light was on in through the darkened one.
Yeah, Paps. It's me.
He called back with his deep, gravelly-edged voice.
Brought someone for dinner, too.
Listener felt uneasy grow in her again, her eyes going to the one red light of her guide, since it seemed to be the only one to focus on her.
Brother!
The voice complained.
Did one of the others decide to come over?
Others? There are others? She noted.
You know we don't have anything to... Oh! Hello, human.
Listener looked to the speaker, then tilted her head up, and up, and up. Sans felt a disgusted but self-satisfying sneer shape his skull as he silently reached behind the door, his fingers brushing against the handle of his trusty axe. No one could seem to look at his sweet brother in the face. It was worse for wear. He'd lived through literally hell, and it showed how strong he had been to make it through. Any second she would scream in horror, cry out in terror, at his amazing, sweet, cool brother, who didn't deserve anyone's fear or hatred for the way he looked. Hate boiled in his soul. He'd judge her for her actions and punish her, let her feel the sins of hurting his sweet brother with her unfounding fear crawling all over her. Any second she'd scream. Any second he tightened his hand around the axe. Any second he'd have dinner for his brother to cook.
Sans?
His brother was an amazing cook. There was a nervous uncertainty tremor in his brother's voice. His brother didn't deserve people's ignorant fear. As soon as she screamed, his hand was ready, his fingers twitching around the handle of his axe. His brother didn't deserve anyone's ignorant hatred. She at least did something good for this world by feeding them. She squealed, her eyes focused on Papyrus's face.
Now!